Hello, thank you for joining us. We begin our report with President Biden in isolation. The president is at his home in Delaware after testing positive for COVID-19 on Wednesday. The diagnosis has forced him off the campaign trail. He had no public events on his schedule today. A note from the president's doctor says he is, quote, still experiencing mild upper respiratory symptoms. The letter goes on to say he does not have a fever and his vital signs remain normal. While the president recovers, a CBS News poll out today shows Biden trailing former President Donald Trump by 5 points in a head-to-head matchup of likely voters. Over in Milwaukee, former President Trump is set to address delegates tonight as the Republican presidential nominee for the third election cycle in a row. It will be his first public remarks since the assassination attempt at Saturday's rally in Pennsylvania. The motive for the shooting is still unclear. The head of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, is facing fierce criticism from Republican lawmakers about lapses in security at the convention. Senators John Barrasso and Marshall Blackburn chased after Cheadle in the convention corridors.
You're the head of the Secret Service.
You owe answers.
Cheadle will appear before the House Oversight Committee on Monday. We'll have more on all of these threads, but we begin with the latest on the Biden campaign. Senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins me now from Milwaukee. Ed, give us a rundown now on the latest pressure on President Biden to step out of the race.
Sure. Well, look, first of all, John, he was always scheduled to be in Rehoboth Beach this weekend. It's just that he had to cut short a visit to Nevada when he got that COVID-19 diagnosis. And they've been building in Delaware weekends for him lately amid the busier travel schedule so that he can sleep in one of his own beds, not be at the White House, and get some rest away from the official business over at the White House. But he, as you said in your lead, he is in isolation, but he's also increasingly isolated from his party. Yet another leader or spirit animal, if you will, across the Democratic Party, Jamie Raskin from suburban Washington, D.C. today, releasing a letter that signaled similar sentiments expressed by people like Adam Schiff and apparently in private from Speaker Pelosi, former Speaker Pelosi's Leader Jeffries, Majority Leader Schumer, saying, you may not win this thing. You may drag down the entire party. You got to make up your mind. The give him space and time continues, but the urgency is building, especially in the hours now ahead of this Trump speech tonight here in Milwaukee, where they signal he's trying to cast himself in a more emotional light. Someone's going to be a little more reflective in the wake of the assassination attempt. So big night for Trump, but watch the hours and days immediately following. If this speech here tonight is so well received, the president may realize we're on the verge of slipping too far behind and might make some kind of a decision. But history also suggests that this sitting president has had his back up against the wall before, and people who've doubted his abilities, and he's come through almost every time. When he was in his 20s running for the Senate, and probably when he decided to stay in the Senate after his aneurysm in the 80s, when he ran again in 2020 and prevailed after a rough start to that primary season. Everyone within his campaign understands, and you, John, most especially can appreciate, that he's probably in the midst of what history will show is one of the roughest, if not the roughest, stretches in presidential campaign history. From that debate through to last weekend to tonight and now this COVID diagnosis, it's a bad time. The big money's drying up. The little money's coming in at a slower trickle. The polling suggests he's pulling away. But Joe Biden's been in positions like this before and has pulled it off. The question is whether his party has the patience for it again this time.
And briefly from the White House, Ed, or the campaign, are you still getting strong, persistent insistence that the president is not going to drop out? Is it coming with the same gusto as it would have been, say, 2 weeks ago?
It's coming just as firmly and quicker even than before. But just because they're sending out the spokesman to say that, of course, it's true until it isn't.
Right.
And so while they're saying that tonight, what's to say they don't get a phone call tomorrow saying, hold off, something else is coming?
Right. And then finally, Ed, do the Democrats see any openings that have come as a result of this Republican convention where they think either J.D. Vance or former President Trump, that something they've really keyed in on?
they have a lot to work with, they would argue, which is what makes this whole intra-party feud so frustrating. Republicans just nominated somebody who's quite conservative, even more so than Trump on the issue of abortion rights, which has been a real galvanizing issue for Democrats this year. You've repeatedly heard conversation about mass deportation now, other issues that have been raised by speakers here, and also a general sense among Democrats observing that there doesn't seem to be much editorial consistency to what's going on here. There doesn't appear to be a lot of enthusiasm, just a lot of fealty to a leader who, like the sitting president, isn't necessarily that popular with Americans overall. So they feel they've got a lot to work with. And they're really frustrated by the fact that so much of this intrigue over the president's future is being driven by people within the Democratic Party. Sure. And the message from the campaign in the White House is shut up already, get in line, and let's focus on the fact that Republicans are handing us material to work with every single day of this convention that we should be able to use to compel swing voters to vote for us.
That's right. Though, as you've reported, that message is not getting them to shut up.
No.
Ed O'Keefe, we're glad you're not shutting up and that you've got the information for us. We appreciate it, Ed. Thank you.